What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, the PS5 Pro, the PS5 Pro. What don't we know about the PS5 Pro? One, how well it will sell. I'm going to say not that very well. Two, we know that it's not 33.4 teraflops. I keep looking at the internet, I keep looking at Twitter, I keep seeing D-Batch spin his tires in the mud when it comes to trying to defend his position on this power narrative and how, look, if you want to waste your money on things or spend your money on things, that's fine, that's your money. Some investments are wiser than others. If it makes you feel good to spend $810 plus tax on a current gen console, that's your thing. If that's the persona you want to project onto the world, the internet, defending this box, sure. But their leader, the half CEO of PlayStation, the console side, the hardware half, the hardware CEO, I forget his name, said a couple of things this week. He said, to temper your expectations on what the PS5 Pro is. Of course, that's paraphrasing, but basically that's what he said. He said it's this gen, it's a this gen console, it's a beefier PlayStation 5. I mean, the price indicates otherwise. Let's be real. The price that the PS5 Pro is equals next gen price. They're trying to get early on that next gen pricing without actually giving you a next gen console. That's their business strategy. I'm gonna say it's not gonna work. It hasn't worked for them so far in the history of video games. Aggressive pricing by Sony never works. Now, when I say aggressive, I mean aggressively overpriced. Now, they did aggressive consumer pricing with the PlayStation 4. That thing flew off the shelves. And it was $100 cheaper. That thing flew off the shelves. Now, roles are reversed. We have $100 cheaper Xbox Series X. I don't think that one's falling off the shelf, but the regular one will. Compared to the PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm going to guarantee you this. Xbox Series X will sell more than the PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm saying that particular unit, Xbox Series X, will sell more than the PlayStation 5 Pro unit. That SKU. That's my prediction. Of course, it has a head start. So whatever. It's got what, 25, probably close to 25 million already on the Xbox side. So, and that's just the Series X. That's what I'm talking about. Not the combined sales of the S and the X. That's totally different. Anyway. So the PlayStation hardware CEO said, yeah, it's just a really more, it's a beefed up, it's a supercharged PlayStation 5. It's an overclocked, it's a boosted PlayStation 5. I'm like, oof. Then 16.7 came around. Digital Rich was like sitting there in Digital Five. He's like, yes, I'm going to unbox this right here. It seems that it's in a white box. It's always in a white box with Sony. That's how they do it over at PlayStation. And so, well, let me just rip this one. He ripped it. He says rip, because he doesn't care. Because the PlayStation 5 Pro is not good enough. PlayStation 5 regular, the PlayStation 5 Amateur is good enough. The PlayStation 5 Pro, with its price, is not good enough. You see how these simple concepts lend and bleed into the consciousness of the public? And it's basically, I mean, it's like, it's buyer's remorse. It's you get what you pay for. It's all these things. Now that second one, you get what you pay for, it's not true. Because when you buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, you inside of your heart, you're gonna say to yourself, this should be way more powerful than what I'm paying for it. But some people don't care. Some people are like, I want the most powerful console. This is what it's gonna be for 18 months or whatever it's gonna be, right? Then something new will come out, something better. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I gleaned from all of this scuttlebutt, all these things that came out. And D-Batch, he's sitting there, oh, it's 32 float points, blah, 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 there's double float points, so it's actually 33.4, because it's 16 times 2, because they can do two options, or two, whatchamacallits, at the same time. I said options. Two, wow, why is the word escaping me? It doesn't matter, but, you know, two things it can do at the same time, doubling it from 16 to 32, doubling the TFLOPS from 16 to 33, 16.7 to 33.4. And so, operations, that's the word I was looking for. And so, I was looking at that, I was like, okay, that's not in the PlayStation 5 Pro, but what it will be in is the next Xbox. So imagine this, if you will. A handheld Xbox with this dual read, dual channel, I don't know what you want to call it, FP, you know, floating point operations option, whatever. It'll literally double the power of the console. So if they take the same specs that exist in the Xbox Series S, even S, but let's just say the X, just for giggles, then you're looking at a 24 teraflop console, right? Right off the jump, without even making the actual console beefier, you know? And so I was like, that's what Sarah Bond was talking about when she said, we gonna make the most powerful console leap, the biggest console leap to date. And I don't know if she said it in history, but I guess for Xbox. And I was like, that makes sense. PlayStation and Sony and all these phony, bony, Ponies, Donkey Unicorns, and D-Batch wish that the PlayStation 5 Pro had that, but it doesn't. He said he'd take the L for it in some, you know, sneaky roundabout way. But I think he doesn't realize how much of an L he's taken. This is D-Batch. Because some people see him as knowing what he's talking about. Some people see him as just, you know, a pony parrot. I see him as a fanboy that is misguided by his fandom. The fandom of power. Not so much a PlayStation fanboy, but more so a fanboy of power, console power war struggle thing. Even he's, you know, PC is the same. And he's caught in that right now, and he feels he's mad at Microsoft right now. He's mad at Xbox because they didn't bring any competition, any powerful console hardware to compete with what PlayStation is doing. Negating and ignoring the fact that the business side is super important, because if they screw up on business, there is no Xbox, there is no PlayStation, there is no freaking Nintendo, there is no video game industry. So I would rather these corporations be a little more business smart, business savvy. Not so much that, oh, we're going to rip off the customers, because that is also part of business too, to have happy customers, to find that medium, the balance between profit, revenue profit, and happy customer and MAUs, basically. And people come into your product because why? Well, it's a good price. It's a good product. The product is awesome. And right? You make a good product. You give it a good price. People want it. It's sold. And Sony seems to have forgotten that simple formula. Make a product that is good, and then the price. It's about the price, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Sony has forgotten about that part of the equation. So, you know, it's just hilarious when I saw the clip with Digital Foundry with Richard Ledbetter, and he was talking to John Linneman on the, you know, on their I was gonna say on the phone, but you know, they were doing a web communication, a Zoom meeting. I don't know what they were on, but anyway, they were talking to each other, and they were gonna do a dual unboxing, and the unboxing is ridiculously stupid. Not because they're stupid, it's because the product it has some of the poorest packaging, the cheapest. Listen, if you're spending $810 plus tax for the actual complete package, you could spend extra money for the packaging. That packaging is so piss poor. It's been piss poor this whole generation. Nobody's saying anything about it. You look at I think the MetaQuest. I think Luke Stevens was like, "Yo, the MetaQuest has a really good package." He didn't notice. He didn't mention the Xbox. He didn't mention the actual competition, the direct competition to PlayStation. Xbox by far has better. It's better. It's better. You put it, and then it opens up like a little chest, and it's got there, and it's like, yo, what's up, man? This is the best console. And you take it out, and the little square thing, like boop, and it's wrapped in a little blanket with a little ribbon on the top, little put, and you take that off, and you take it off its clothes, and it's naked. It's great. The PlayStation is in between two egg crates and a plastic bag. It's not plastic. It's whatever. Cornstarch. I don't know what it is. It's the foam bubble bags, not the little. Anyway, you know what it is. Styrofoam bag. And I'm like, this is trash. And then the instructions were just thrown on the side. I was like, wow, this is. And like I said before, he had a ripped box. Richard Ledbetter got a ripped box again. He had a ripped box on the first PlayStation 5, I believe, and he got a ripped box again. That's hilarious that he got double ripped box. So this time he just hulked it out and ripped it in. Oh, right, I'm going to rip it apart. Anyway, the 16.7 TFLOPS is something that is it's gonna stay there. It's gonna stay there. D-Batch is taking the biggest L. Mad people got receipts. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's gonna be 33 TFLOPS because it's dual operations per the blah blah blah. I can do dual operations at the same time. God, I'm like, okay, that's a cool technology. RDNA 3. Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Too bad it's not RDNA 3. And then D-Batch is over here. I didn't see his latest video because I was like, I don't want to be poisoned by this man's twisted mind. So he was talking about not he. He was just on and on about the 33 teraflops and stuff. And, it's going to be the most powerful console, blah, blah, blah. And technically, yes, it is. Also, it's also the most expensive console in history. Concord is also the most worst failure in history. So there's a lot of most surrounding PlayStation this generation, and not all of them are positive, if you will. Especially the Concord stuff. I'm always going to mention that. Concord, dead. RIP. But the notion that, some of these fools were, it's just like a 4090, or as powerful as a 4090. And D-Batch himself, 4070. That's the same thing as a 4070. Isn't. It is not even close. And so, yeah, 16.7 teraflops. It's funny because Sony, I don't know why they do this. I think I know why they do it, but I also kind of don't know why they do this, because they let the narrative get out of hand to the point where these donkey unicorns and these ponies are believing the narrative rather than the actual facts. And even when they're wrong, to the detriment of PlayStation and the kind of image, public perception of PlayStation, they don't say anything. They knew what the console was capable of. They knew how many teraflops it was. They knew that it is not RDNA 3. It has some features of ray tracing, right? It has some really rudimentary, hot trash garbage version of ray tracing. Even Digital Foundry said this is lower than the lowest setting of ray tracing on PC. Now, I don't know, but this is one thing I don't know. I wasn't sure if he was talking about, I'm pretty sure they clarified it, but I don't remember. If it was the Intel, they were comparing it to Intel, or comparing it to like AMD's implementation. I would assume probably Intel, maybe, because I don't think AMD has released it publicly. I think they're still working on it, and what they did, the pisser technology that's in the PlayStation is some of the workings of what they'll do in their hardware, ray tracing stuff. But that's not the point. The point is that they went with the narrative, and the narratives were wrong, and now they look like knuckleheads and idiots. And I'm like, look, I don't know a lot of stuff. I don't know many things about the technical side as far as how these things. I mean, I have a a cursory understanding of, I understand the 16-bit float points, 32-bit float points, blah, blah, blah. And here's another thing that's so devious, that how PlayStation and Sony do their thing. He did this, I think, with the PlayStation 4 Pro or one of them. And he used 16-point float points instead of 32, which is not what you use when you're actually doing a game. Unless you're going to make a 16-bit game or something, you're using 32-bit points, float, for the operations. And so I'm like, why is he dividing it so he can multiply it to make it look like it's more than it actually is? It's like, yeah, why don't you just do 2 and have the biggest number? Because it's dumb, ridiculous, and you don't ever use that. It's like, oh, well, we might use it as shadows and stuff. And then the shadows look like trash. They look like 16-bit shadows because it's 16-bit. I mean, I don't know if that's how exactly it works, but I understand the integers and how 1632 going up, 256, 512, 1024, 2048, and so on. And that's just computer. That's just like kind of basic computer integer math stuff, right? But the main thing, like I said before, is them deceiving the casuals, or the people who are a little bit more advanced than casuals, and they understand, or they pretend, or they think they know about kind of the inner workings of how computers work, and how by that, how consoles work. I mean, basically it's the same operations as far as, CPU, GPU, RAM, right? The only difference is the comparison to computers is more of consoles are more compared to laptops with APUs, because basically that's what these APUs are. They're from laptops, basically, that don't have bespoke graphics CPUs. And so if you want to compare, you can compare it to a laptop or something like that. I mean, they do have some desktops that have this, but ideally it's not the way to go. If you're going to have a desktop, you have a discrete CPU and a discrete GPU. That way, you have both RAMs, your VRAM and your regular RAM on your system, blah, blah, blah. It's different. I would say that the actual I/O, because of the space between these two or all these components, is greater than an APU. Maybe you lose a little bit of a speed on the I/O in that, but anyway, we're going down a rabbit hole. The point is that these teraflop numbers and these things are all put out there, and Sony uses them in a not honest way for the most part. And he said it in one of the videos where he was like, I think he said it at 16 points, is actually 30 or something like that. And that's where the Ponies and Donkey Unicorns hit it. And he's like, oh my gosh, it's 33 teraflops. And it's like, but that's not how it's going to be used. So why would you even, he's not lying. And that's the whole thing. He can say something that is true, but they don't use the systems like that. So that's why they could say 8K, because technically that USB port, the HDMI port 2.1 or whatever it was, is technically capable of outputting an 8K signal. That's why they put 8K on the box. Did they ever use 8K? I think one game could do it, or I guess video could do it, but I don't even know if they even had that. So, and that was on the old box. Do they still have it on the new box? I'm not sure if they put it back on, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I appreciate y'all hanging out, like and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about the PS5 Pro specs. They're out. And 16.7 teraflops is a sad number. It's only 4. It's only 4 more. Actually, it's around 4. D-Batch is also a booty head, because he rounded up. It's 16.7, right? He rounded up for PlayStation, but he didn't round up for Xbox. So I have a problem with that, because he's like, oh yeah, whatever, I was wrong. It's 17 teraflops instead. I'm like, well, hold on. How you get from 16.7 to 7? How you skipping 300 megahertz? How? 3 gigahertz? How? Well, how you skip? And then he said 12 For Xbox, it's like, but that's not 12. It's 12. It's more than 12. I think it's 12 and a half, close to. I mean, you can say 13 if you want to round up. Just do, yeah. So why? That's why he's a clown right now. That's why he's getting clowned. And he's over there complaining about, oh man, you see what they're saying to me on Twitter? It's super duper. I'm just clapping back or whatever he said. Paraphrasing. I'm like, you a knucklehead who's doing knucklehead things, who knows something about computers. Still goes back to the first point. Knucklehead. First you're a knucklehead, then you're doing knucklehead things, then you know about computers, which is not that good of a combination. The formula's a little, you need to get off the knuckleheadations. Get that knuckleheadia out of your head, and just, chill. Don't talk and try to defend your point. You say, all right, fine, I took the L. Be a little humble, and just shut the hell up and just go and play your PC, because if you want to sweat the PlayStation 5 Pro, you want to gargle on them Pro balls, you go ahead. But I'm just saying, that's not a good look. That's not a good look, Maple syrup. Anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Till the weed.